Justin, there are two title fights on this card, UFC 268, Madison Square Garden. It's obviously a huge card, but it feels like the people's main event, so to speak. The one that people are talking about the most, people that are most excited about, is Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. Why do you think that is?
I think it's the stylistic matchup that everyone hopes and dreams for when it comes to a fight. We're both explosive, both athletic, both dangerous, and we both like to knock people out and really take risks. So, when you put that into a cage, two people like that, you're bound to have some fireworks.
Do you see any similarities between the two of you guys? Because he got his start in Bellator, and he was a champion there for a long time, and then he came over as a free agent into the UFC. You were a champion in World Series of Fighting. You came over as a free agent, and you made a splash right away, kind of the same way that he did. Any similarities?
I mean, I think you can draw those lines, but at the end of the day, every athlete in this sport has a similar journey to what I had. We take fights, we start on smaller promotions, and then, ultimately try to reach the top. And we've both done that through other promotions. So, yeah, it's similar in that way,
Right.
but, we're both wrestlers, both grew up wrestling our whole life. So I think we have a lot of similarities, but, we'll see. Nothing matters but 15 minutes on Saturday night.
And both wrestlers who do like to stand and bang and knock people out as well.
Yeah, they pay me what they pay me because they pay me not to wrestle. So that's the way I look at it.
How do you break down this matchup stylistically? Do you think he may try to wrestle with you? Do you think it'll be a stand-up fight? What do you see happening?
Yeah, I mean, it's mixed martial arts. I'm expecting everything. I think, of course, he's going to try to take it to the ground, to win some rounds, to win, it's a 3-round fight. It's super important that you win the first round, win the second round, and win third round. So, yeah, I think he's an intelligent dude. I think he fights smart, and I think he will try to take it to the ground and get the points there. But more so, I think he'll take it to the ground and want to be taking bad shots once he feels the power, feels the leg kicks, and then understands that his only path to victory is to try and take me down.
You are not a guy who talks a lot of trash, but it does seem like this fight has a little bit more behind it. Has it gotten personal at all?
No, not necessarily. The only thing that's personal is, everything's on the line. He's trying to take everything from me. With the win here, I get a title shot, and with a title shot is all that I care about. So, nothing's personal other than the fact that he's the man standing in my way.
It does seem like, though, and correct me if I'm wrong here, it does seem like some of the things that he has said has rubbed you the wrong way. Maybe some of the things that you have said has rubbed him the wrong way. Is there any of that going on?
I control every thought and every emotion that goes through my mind and through my body. So I don't even know much of what he has said or if he has said things. And if he did, I didn't process it or care to watch it. So, yeah, I got to be my best self on Saturday night. Got to represent my team, represent my coach. It's really important that I go out there and put on a great performance and inspire my teammates to go out there and perform.
There have been 2 lightweight title fights booked for this year since Khabib has been gone, and
Yep.
Justin Gaethje is not involved, has not been involved, neither one of them. A win here against Michael Chandler, that gets you in that spot, does it not?
Yeah, absolutely it does. Yep. If not, we riot.
Is that a surprise to you that there have been these 2 fights booked and you have not been a part of them?
With Khabib retiring, it kind of, messed things up a little bit. Number 1 fought number 5, number 3 fought number 4 for the belt, and if you were number 2, you were left out in the cold, and it happens that Justin Gaethje was number 2. So if I was 1, 4, 3, 5, then I probably wouldn't be as upset. Naturally I was, I wanted the shot. I felt like I deserved the shot. And certainly I didn't think, I think some of the animosity came from him getting a title shot off of beating Dan Hooker. That in my mind on the sport, on what we're doing here. So yeah, I was upset about that. Not necessarily with him, more so with the UFC and
Right.
how the process kind of unfolded.
You didn't think that just one win in his first UFC fight was enough to get him a title shot?
I didn't think a win over Dan Hooker was enough to
Right.
get him a title shot. No way. Dan is a great fighter, but he's had a rough streak, and he had a rough streak going into that fight. So yeah, I mean, they wanted somebody to fight for a title that didn't lose to Khabib. I understand that. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. They make their choices, and we got to ride with it. So, I could criticize from the outside. I don't know what was going on in the meeting room or what the decisions needed to be made to make the most money. I'll leave that to them, and I'll keep fighting.
It's interesting that we're talking about Dan Hooker and Chandler beating him to get a title shot, because just last week Islam Makhachev beat
Yeah.
Dan Hooker, and there are a lot of people saying Islam should be next in line, or at least he should be right there in the conversation off of a win against Dan Hooker. I'm sure you're probably saying to yourself, let's put a stop to that.
Like I
right
said,
here this week.
if I win Saturday and I don't get a shot, I riot. Like there's no way I can let that happen, and go away quiet. He's lost 4 out of his last 5, I believe, Hooker, and it wasn't even it was a late replacement fight. It's not like he trained for that fight. He still has not fought a top caliber fighter in the UFC. That's my mindset. And had Dan Hooker was that guy with the full camp. He got him off. It was like a 30-day camp. Had to travel
4 weeks,
from the United States over to Abu Dhabi. Being in Abu Dhabi and living over here is you're not in your comfort zone. That is not prime for performance. So it is what it is, and I think that should be taken into account.
What does a Justin Gaethje riot look like if you don't get this shot?
Who knows? I'm sure a lot of people just call me a little whining, but I don't know. I guess I just sit back and let my manager do what he's supposed to do, and make the right thing happen. Again, it kind of threw things into the loop whenever Khabib retired. I waited for someone to fight. There was no fights available up until this point, and this is the perfect fight to get me right in that picture.
You're sharing a card this week with your longtime teammate Rose Namajunas, and I know that she means a lot to you, and she means a lot to the team. First time you're sharing a card with her. What does that mean to you? Is that a cool experience?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, just the whole process, me, Kamaru, and Rose being in the room, pushing each other, driving, really just they both have such different mindsets. We all have different mindsets, different work ethics, and it's always great to see great people, trying to push themselves to be great. And then whenever we can all be in the same room doing it together, it's a really special. This whole camp has been special.
Yeah, the 3 of you, you, Kamaru, Rose. It's like the Trevor Whitman Bowl, UFC 268. It's like the Trevor Whitman card. It's like the
at the end of the day,
Colorado
it's
showcase.
No different for us fighters. We have one fight. We got to go in there alone. But yeah, this is a huge night for Trevor. I'm sure he's lost a few hours of sleep.
Training with Kamaru, he has a lot of experience also training with your opponent, Michael Chandler, at Sanford MMA down in Florida. Does he impart any of that knowledge, any of that wisdom on you from training with Chandler?
No, I mean, none of that matters. We all grow as athletes, as fighters, as people, every month, every year. So if I was counting on tactics that he was using or utilizing 3 years ago, 2 years ago, then I would be a fool. It's 15 minutes of perfection is what I need to have. I need to be my best self, and if he can beat that, then props to him. But no, I don't. No, we don't talk about him at all.
If you were to win on Saturday, title shot does seem like it's likely. Poirier versus Oliveira in December. Yeah. Is there any preference? Is there any one of those guys that you would like to fight? I
mean, the preference is going to come from wanting to have exact revenge on Poirier. He beat me. I want to beat him. I want to fight him again. I made one big mistake in that fight, and I fought much different at that time. So yeah, I would love to fight him now and see how that goes.
Do you think he wins?
I think he should win. Yeah, I do. I think he should win. Confidence is crazy in this sport, and both of them are high as hell on confidence right now. So I think it's going to be a great fight. Oliveira is a great competitor. He's got incredible skills. So yeah, I think it's going to be a great fight. I don't know who wins. I hope Poirier wins, so I can beat his ass.
So your ideal scenario would be you win this weekend, Poirier wins in December, and you guys meet for the belt in the spring or something like that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter which one wins. I think they would both be fantastic fights. I would love to fight either one of those guys. Poirier for the revenge, Oliveira for the challenge. He brings different things to the table. I said he's a quitter, and I would be able to prove that and show that if I fight him.
Maybe that would be an easier fight for you think, Oliveira?
I don't think anything's an easy fight when it comes to this game and this level.
Just the last few questions, Justin, and thank you for the time. You took some issue with Daniel Cormier on commentary last Saturday during the Islam Makhachev fight. He's on commentary for your fight this week at UFC 268. Anything resolved with DC, or do you still have some
No, I was just calling out the blatant bias. You have a job, and you can't stay in the middle, so that's a problem, and I got to call it out.
Will you have a chat with him at all this week? I know you guys probably do a meeting, right, with the commentators.
No, I don't care what he thinks or says right now. This is about me. This is about my team. This is about Michael Chandler. That's all irrelevant. You know, I was just watching the interview. I was like, holy, you know, suck it harder, man. Like, you know, can you hide your bias a tiny bit? You know, that was my thought process that night. And then I went to bed and didn't think about it since then. So I'm good.
Last
Play him
thing.
in golf and get him back there.
There you go. One last thing. You very rarely, as we've said earlier, you know, you don't really talk trash. You don't have a lot of like ill things to say about really anyone in the sport. But
Yeah.
there's one guy that you don't like, and he's also on this card. And he's fighting Kamaru Usman, your teammate, Colby
Yeah.
Covington. What is your beef with Colby Covington?
I mean, I can't respect someone that's just a fake person, you know. He wants to say that nobody knows him because he's putting on an act. You know, I can't respect that as a human. I've never taken that route, seen that route. You know, I've got to give it to him. It takes some intellect to pull that shit off. So, good for him. But yeah, more of it's just personal. Like when I was at there was a Trump thing in Vegas. We were all at. You know, he sits there, is respectful as hell to me and to Ali, and we leave, and he goes on Twitter and starts saying he was with the terrorists at the Trump. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot, dude. Like, you know, how could you be any more fake? We're right there. We're right in front of your face. Why don't you say something there? And yeah, so I don't respect that. That's about it. But this is not my beef this week, and I'd be a fool or an idiot to try and cause any commotion because Kamaru gets to break his face again on Saturday. And if anything were to happen, I would take a paycheck out of my pocket, Kamaru's pocket, and that's not what I'm here for.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.